Live here.
Live!
But we don't have to necessarily know what that means.
What's the someday of black?
I don't
there's
know
a
that we
reason
want to-
this story happens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the movie writes itself. Ooh.
I'm still streaming. How do I stop streaming? No! Hello!
Hello! Welcome!
It's Tuesday, but it feels like a Thursday.
I was just saying to Michelle that it feels like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
What is up with today?
Well, what's up with today is that I just received news that in Chatsworth, near where you live, a sinkhole just opened up and swallowed 2 cars.
No.
Yes. True story.
What?
True story. Around the corner from someone I used to know when I used to live in Chatsworth.
I know a lot of people that live here. I hope everyone's okay. Swallowed 2 cars?
Cars.
Dude, the rain here is insane. It stopped finally. It stopped, but it was like the most flooding I've ever seen. It's insane. But here we are. We're alive. We're here.
Yes.
We're online. I didn't lose my internet. I actually got a notification saying that there might be outages today.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But welcome to Ben and Jake Write a Movie, the podcast where we may one day potentially, possibly write a movie.
We might do.
Maybe.
But, it's been going all right. It's okay. We're still mining. We've got this idea. We're still just figuring it out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think you just have to accept the process for what it is and just continue to love and accept yourself.
Continue to love and accept yourself. I love it. So here we are, this wonderful business. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say our wonderful assistant, Nick, sent us a list of topics that we could talk about at any moment. If we hadn't thought about what we were going to talk about business-wise, or we didn't have a thing, we could just look at this list of topics.
I love it.
And riff on that.
That's great.
And he did that of his own accord. He's a legend. He's a legend. He's got a great future ahead of him. That's great.
He does. Well, pick one.
Great, I will do. So it splits 2 categories. Pick a category. Business or creative? Business or creative?
Let's go business.
Let's go business. All right. So I'm going to go, great, this one here. Red flags. What are your major red flags when discussing projects with producers or studio people? Anything done / said early in discussions ever set your alarm bells off and make you think, this is not going to work out? It's good. It's an interesting thing.
We have to be careful with this one.
We do, don't we? Yeah, I think it's
But yes. So first of all, there are definitely red flags. There are red flags about people.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story? And I don't think it'll come back to bite us in the ass. I don't think it will do. I think it will.
Do it.
We went into a meeting with a producer, and he was running slightly late because he was meeting with someone else before.
Right.
Door opened, young woman came out, left. We went in and we started talking about projects and things they had. They said, we got this script. We've got this script that we think we're going to need a rewrite on. We were like, oh, okay. Like, why do you think that? We were like, just kind of feel the writer isn't gonna be able to do with it. She just left, actually. And it was the writer who was working on the script that they were already discussing firing her.
She was actually signing her contract in the other room.
Signing her contract.
She hadn't even started yet.
And we both went, oh fuck, these producers are assholes.
I know it was not a good first impression.
It was not a good first
not a good thing for any producers out there or studio executives that may, for some random reason, watch this podcast.
Maybe they do. Who knows?
It's not a good thing to tell a potential screenwriter that you fire your screenwriters before you hire them.
Yeah.
It is always, I think, something that we as professional screenwriters, we're big boys, we're not babies. We know that being replaced on a project is far more common than the other way around.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in knowing that it's a guarantee. Unless that's the deal.
Yeah.
Unless someone says, you know what, I want to hire you for one draft. We're probably going to go back to the other writer afterwards, but we need a punch up on blank.
Yeah.
That's different.
That's different.
That's totally different. But if you're going into a situation where you're like excited about doing a project and your producer's already basically giving you the signs that they're the kind of people who replace writers really frequently.
Yeah.
It just kind of doesn't sit well. Again, we know writers get replaced. That's
we
not,
do. That is not
the
that.
issue.
Yeah.
It's more like she's sitting in the next room.
Exactly. And that was it. It was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, that's personal. If we've had pitches, we pitched an agent and a manager, and the manager of this talent kept looking at their phone constantly. And then at the end of the pitch, said to our producer we're working on, you have this other thing that you're working on. Can you tell me about that? It's another project this producer was doing.
Right.
And totally. So again, these are all personal things.
Yeah, I mean, that's a red flag. What's interesting about that, and I will say it's like, that's tough because this person, without naming names, represents very high level talent that we were trying to get.
Yeah.
So while we walked out of that room going, we're never going to work with her again.
Yeah.
Or even attempt to. The reality is, if we wanted the actress that she represents, we would.
We'd have to. But we would do it with our eyes open. Yeah. We like, oh, okay.
We know what we were getting into for sure.
There was one pitch. I'm going to have to demonstrate it. Sorry, podcast listeners.
Yeah, if you're listening right now, Jake is sitting in a chair.
And it was this.
And he is spinning around in his chair. Now, we sat down to do this pitch. We had done all kinds of preparation. We'd worked with him.
I love the fact that you immediately know what I'm doing.
Oh, I know exactly what you're doing. There's only been one. And we went in having worked on this pitch with his most senior VP.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there and he's just, we're trying to talk. We've got visual boards and stuff that we've done. We've done all this preparation. And we're trying to pitch him, and he's just spinning around in his chair. Yeah. And then I'm trying to stay positive about it as we're pitching.
You think maybe this is what someone does to visualize something.
Like you like to draw. Like sometimes people like have things that they need to do to listen, right? But then he comes in with his very first question, and the character he asks about wasn't a character in our pitch. And immediately we just went,
oh, fuck. Oh, no. We're working with an asshole.
Right. And
that was another one. Yep.
That was one where we said, we have no interest in doing that again.
There was another
interesting. I'd like to ask, though, is it what's a red flag before you get to that stage? What is something? I mean, like obviously the people who were telling us about the place that's a good red flag when you get in there.
Well, for me, it's we get a script that needs rewritten, or it's a concept. Sometimes it's just a concept,
right?
And they've been trying to figure this out forever. Or this has been through, we got a script one. The title page was 6 or 7 deep.
Right.
And you just go, you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we can't figure out what you want or come up with a version, because oftentimes you hear the phrase, we'll know what we want when we see it. God. But sometimes when there are these long title pages, it's like a project's been in development forever, For example, this is one that I think we toyed with, but it's very public knowledge about this project's been around forever. Hot Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Wheels has been a movie project that has been pitched, written, rewritten. Everyone and their mother has pitched fucking Hot Wheels.
Well,
when Hot Wheels came across our desk, we were like, is this what I'm going after? Really?
But the funny thing is about that project, we said, you know what? Let's at least think about it. And it has been done by everyone, but it was sent to us through our agent, who we respect, and you want to, when people send you opportunities, you want to follow through. So we sat with it, and we were like, okay, actually, we have an interesting way in. So we're like, set a meeting, and we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And we put, I don't know how many hours, but some hours into it. We didn't do a full pitch because we were like, we don't know. We're not going to do a full pitch, but we'll do a take. And the difference for us, a take is pretty broad. It's probably about 5 to 7 minutes.
It's primarily conceptual in nature, isn't it?
It's like I would say 5 to 7 minute conversation.
Sure.
Basically.
Yes.
Here's what we'd want to do. This is our version. Whereas like a full pitch is going to go through the whole plot of the movie. It's going to be 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot more work.
Yeah.
But we get in there, and if you remember,
they
weren't actually looking to hear a pitch on Hot Wheels anymore.
Absolutely.
They had already
hired someone. We're down the road with someone
They had already decided who they wanted. And we were like, well, that was a waste of
money. I know, right? Absolutely. It was crazy. Another thing is, red flags wise, when you start various conversations, we haven't got the rights to this yet, but
we won't. We actually that is a red flag. A red flag. Also, when it's pre-existing IP.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this stage we're kind of like they need to control the rights IP. Not a handshake. I have a really good relationship with the agent. Not we've talked with the author and we think this could be really good.
The company behind
we're down the road in discussion or whatever it is. No. Like either have an option or a fucking ironclad shopping agreement in place, because otherwise it's a waste of time. And
we got screwed on this. We've been screwed on this several times, and we got screwed on this last year. And I'm not looking at the cabinet of models behind me because it's just too cool.
It's real, like chasing an IP that the producers don't even control.
Yeah.
That is a big red flag. Like you gotta, like, that's just not.
And we were warned. We were. And we were like, okay.
But that wasn't even the first time it had happened to us.
No.
I mean, I think there's a few other, I guess, red flags maybe that I'm like trying to think of in terms of, because there's like red flags in terms of producers that you want to work with. Yeah. There's red flags in terms of,
projects and properties.
There's red flags in terms of representation. I think
there was a red flag about a property we were looking into, and we discovered that the person who created the property, was involved with the property, had some kind of negative stuff going around them online.
Right.
We're like, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to get down the road with something, be ready to pitch it, or even pitch it, and then have someone go, "Oh, the person who created this is
not okay. Is canceled."
A kind of person who doesn't do things that are acceptable in modern society.
Correct.
Yes.
I think we've fallen for definitely some things that should have been red flags to us, but we went along with it anyway because we were either green or we just were like, well, but is it really that bad?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, we had, I won't even say, I mean, we had Bryan Singer attached to a movie, and there was a red flag about his reputation, but we also really liked some of his creative movies in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very early in our career. And we
Yeah.
we were like, oh, well, he hadn't been officially like accused of anything, but there's rumors. And I think that you got to be careful in this town now, especially rumors become real very quickly.
They do. Yeah.
You know, it's definitely, you got to think about who you're getting into bed with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who was it that we, so an interesting red flag that I would think about is the person that you're meeting with talking shit about a lot of other people at the same time?
Totally. That is such a red flag for me.
Yeah.
As soon as you're with someone like that, I just go, you're not a professional.
Or you're talking shit about us to everybody else.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like if you're doing it about them, you're probably doing it about everybody.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Definitely a red flag.
How people treat their assistants.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a sense when you walk into an office if the assistant is really happy, or like,
I think that's very valid.
You know, yeah. I definitely think that there are people who, you know, I want to work with good people. I want to work with nice people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what happened with us? Forget, there was a huge red flag that we saw, and again, kind of avoided with a producer that we had a relationship with, kind of, but we'd never met with him before. And then it was like, right off the bat in the first meeting, it was like, I want to do this.
Text me who you're talking about, so we're not talking about it online.
Yeah.
Just so I can get on the same page.
Right.
I don't even want to mention names.
Basically, the over eagerness of this particular thing, but then the kind of talking up,
I think I know
all of the potential.
Yeah. That's just what I was thinking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just got it.
It was almost too easy.
Almost too easy. Absolutely right. And actually, interestingly enough, you know, there are lots of minor red flags with, and this particular person had them. Just the way that they were, and that's a very vague thing to say, but like they might say like,
I mean, I might say that about you, Jake.
Kind of almost be not racist and not sexist, but kind of adjacent, insinuating things. You'd be like, that's a weird
thing. Like, appropriate
to say.
When you've just met someone, like there's a professionalism, I feel like, that it's like, we're not close enough yet for you to talk that way.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
That's a bit of a red flag. Now, you know, I'll put a caveat on all red flags. And the reality is, like, this industry is filled with red flags everywhere.
Absolutely.
And so navigating those and going, is this worth the potential risk that it might be?
Yeah.
Am I willing to sell my soul for a paycheck? Is this the kind of thing, like, I mean, I'll use an example being we talked about it the other day, so I don't feel bad talking about it, but Santa Swap, our movie that we sold, we knew before we even signed that deal that they had notes, but not just notes. Like it was implied to us that they wanted to take
some pretty big changes.
That is a huge red flag in terms of creatively a red flag to go, this may not be a good situation for this project.
Right.
We knew it. We said, well, we don't have another buyer. This is the only one raising their hands.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of COVID. We wanted the paycheck.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we took it. And so I feel like there's going to be red flags all over the place. And you just kind of have to make a choice to go, how am I going to feel in 6 months' time knowing that I walked into that trap?
Yeah.
You know?
There was another one as well. There was another. I can just remember all these things now. I know we'll wrap up in a second because I know we're at 20 minutes. We were talking with a producer who had the rights to a book series that we really liked a lot. And we were trying to make this thing happen with all of our other contacts. And they had decided to go with a named actor who wasn't as big and was producing things, but hadn't produced anything of the scale that this was going to be.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And we, in that particular case, we walked away from that because we were like, this isn't going to go. And sure enough, it didn't go.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good example. So that was a really interesting example. And I think a lot of people, especially starting out, I know we did, and I did even before you. You meet with a lot of people who aren't quite of the caliber where you can necessarily trust what they have to say or trust their experience. And you have to be careful about really going, is this work going to be worth my time? And how can I manage my expectations? That was a situation where the book series was going to be expensive.
It was
big, expensive movie. There's no way around it.
No.
We're talking $100 million movie easily, right?
You wanted it to have that budget to do it justice.
And the producer was no one that had produced anything even remotely close to that.
They had acquired the rights to this book series because they were developing a video game based on the same problem.
Yeah, and the reality is they had the best of intentions, but they had started to go down the road with this other partner, and we said to them, "Look, the partner you're going down the road with, they're not going to get this size movie made. Yeah. You're going to end up having to partner with somebody else.
Yeah.
And their ego probably isn't going to let them partner with somebody else.
Yeah.
So don't do it. Let us go to our contacts and find a home with a producer that can make $100 million movie."
Yes.
And he didn't want to. And while on the one hand, I respect the fact that he wanted to honor the agreement that he was doing, and I do genuinely have that respect, he didn't have the ability to see what we saw. And I think it was a really good move for us because they wanted us to come in and pitch. And we said no. Another one on the same level. I know we're going far on this, but
there have been so many.
We had an experience to do a potential autobiography. It was a really wonderful experience that we were able to, really awesome guy, awesome connection. We had a wonderful day meeting with this person.
Yeah.
And we left the house going, we just got that. He shook our hands and said, "I want to do this with you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's do this."
Yeah.
We had lunch. It was great. We get back and we find out that actually there's a company who is has been circling this project for a while.
Right.
And that didn't we had never been told about this.
Yeah, totally.
And we were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And now the reality is the company that was circling it was absolutely the right production company for that.
They were.
They make those kinds of movies. But we got in touch with them and said, hey, we've already talked to the guy. He likes us. We want to do it.
Yeah.
We're open to doing it with you. There was and their response was, well, if you'd like to come in and pitch us, you can come in and pitch us.
I know. We were like,
yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, totally.
We walked from that because we knew.
As well. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because one could say, oh, it was just your ego. Well, no, it was the fact that we'd already done a lot of legwork into it.
Well, we knew that it was going to be. They were just doing it to let us pretend that we had a verbal agreement, but they had far more power and ability to solidify an agreement with him.
That's right.
And he was clearly going with them.
He was.
And they weren't going to hire us.
No, I know. Had been,
But guess what? That movie hasn't been made either.
Haven't made either.
Yeah.
Exactly so anyway, red flags. There are many. There are some examples of ours.
You're going to find your own.
You're going to find your own. And honestly, I think probably the biggest thing as well is listen to your instincts.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be right 9 times out of 10 on certain things. If something feels wrong, listen to that. Listen to that voice.
It's true.
Anyway, Ben and Jake write a movie.
All right. Well, let's continue writing that movie.
Let's continue writing that movie. So we actually opened up our Scratch document yesterday.
We did. And just to kind of put some stuff down.
Yeah, put some of these things down that we may be able to, you're just going to go, let's not forget that, because that would be...
Yeah, it's not much. So instead of opening it up, I'm just going to read what we wrote. So hold on just a second here. Basically, so here's what we wrote yesterday. We said that Charlize, our demon character, is not there yet in her full relationships with humans, but she's close. She's a bit of a loner, still slowly integrating into this small town. Her walls have been coming down. We can see that her fear of being found through her locks on the doors, cameras everywhere. So we kind of get a sense for exactly what she's going on. But when the demons start to show up in her town after the energy blast happens, she knows what's happening and she's not going to let it continue. And it's a subtle shift, but we wanted to give it more complexity because it's like, and I had said, it's like, she's like, motherfucker, like I'm like, the guy just asked me out on the date. Or like I just figured out how I'm going to do this, and now this is not only going to ruin my life, but it's going to ruin but making it somewhat personal as well, So then we also said that Sam, we're going to move her in the direction of an unexpected character who ultimately becomes the Antichrist. Something not necessarily comedic, but also not obvious. Maybe she's the one with the family. So that's all we wrote.
Yeah, I think we should talk about her today.
Yeah.
And this new version of her. Something that's been at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And worth discussing comes down to our lore about how our demons from hell are raising the Antichrist. In the current version of it, it is that over the course of history, they have, in the same way as the Bene Gesserit sisterhood in Dune, been manipulating this event.
Yes.
But that's kind of based on negative emotions, negative things. When bad shit happens, it affects mankind.
Right, it's building up negativity and darkness.
It like feeds down into this distilled
Right, I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Like this. Now, in our current version, she is this woman who then is, battling against addiction.
Her own quote unquote demons.
Her own demons.
Her own personal demons. You're right.
And then it comes out and it's my mother dies my mother and brother die in a terrorist attack, which we later learn was caused by these demons. And I'm now gonna become that thing. That's not to say it doesn't work. I just want to bring that conversation up to here and hold it up next to our new version of our Sam character.
Well, here's the thing, and I gotta say, I think that see, everything you said I really like. Like everything that you just pitched out there, I go, yeah, it's like someone battling their own demons, basically becoming a demon. I fucking love that. But that doesn't work with like a normal, nice person either, unless we go really ultra kind of like cool, complex, where like on the outside, this person looks like the perfect person, but really does have her own demons. Do we see like I think about I don't know why this just popped in my head, but Ozark.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But like, is it like someone who is actually may seem like the nice, perfect, Susie homemaker, but actually is selling drugs on the side?
Sure. But I guess then my question is does that do what we were trying to go for with this one? This is something that we won't expect because it's this person here.
Yeah, no, it's a conflict of concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the one hand, I really like this. I like the arc of both of our women facing their quote unquote inner demons and learning to be the person who takes charge of their own lives.
That's the name of the movie.
Facing your demons?
Inner demons.
Inner demons. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. Although it makes me think of inner space for some reason. So inner space. We're gonna shrink down. We're gonna go into your body, and we're gonna look for demons.
That's another. It's The Exorcist means inner space.
The Exorcist means inner space. I love it. The only way to exorcise the demon is to actually go
inside.
It's Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters means inner space. Meets The Exorcist.
Oh, that's
put it in the folder.
That's actually really funny, but not a real movie. But really funny. Be a great Saturday Night Live sketch.
But for anybody listening, viewing, that is oftentimes how we come up with a movie idea. We're talking about something completely different. We're like, that's actually a movie idea.
That's actually a movie. No, like that thing, that core.
Yeah.
I respond to it.
Me too.
So how do we
waste a week just like that?
What's that? No. It's not. None of this is a waste. None of this is a waste. It never is. It never is. Even if it just solidifies the other idea more, it's not a waste. But and honestly, anybody watching, like that's the truth. Is like even if you go on a complete tangent, and what it does is it solidifies for you that what you came up with first is fucking awesome. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's not bad because now you know that tangent doesn't work. You can move on from that.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I do like all of that. And also something about it feels, again, it's like, how do we flip it a little bit so that it doesn't feel just dark, gritty, Constantine? I mean, like, honestly, the way that we've been constructing it so far, it's like she's got a fucking shit life. Like, it's dark, it's pretty fucking depressing, and that's okay for that kind of movie.
Okay, I'm just going like out here, and it's actually inspired by your work on another script that you did overnight.
Okay,
so Ben comes to me this morning, and
right.
Okay. Ben comes to me this morning and says, I went out, I couldn't sleep last night. So I sat in front of the computer. I was going to do some work on the current story we're working on, but I just couldn't, wasn't flowing. I had this other voice in my head telling me to burn things. Now, and this other voice in my head, and it was the voice of a character from a script that we've been working on and off, mainly off, for many, many, many years.
The first script we ever worked on together.
First script we ever worked on.
Yep.
It's called Silver Fox, and it's fucking awesome.
It is.
And literally, this is now 40. It'll be 15.
14 years old. We've never taken it to market.
Never taken it to market.
2023 is the year.
Maybe it will be. Absolutely right. And he went, and we done some work on it last year. And Ben went, I've actually heard her voice, and it's totally different. And it's this kind of character. And we read through it, and it was just excellent. Ben, you're a very good writer. I just want to publicly appreciate that. It was great. It was so much fun. I wonder if we could make Charlize more fun than she currently is. Because in it, I see her being a little dour.
Stoic and serious.
And being a little Charlize. I don't know if it works.
But not Sam. You're not thinking of this for Sam. You're thinking of this for Charlize.
I'm thinking of anyway. Just popped into my mind because again, I'm going. What is the tonal thing we can do to make this fun and interesting and another kind of fresh way in. What if our demon was funnier than they currently are? I've never seen her as funny, so it's going to be a kind of no. She's not. She's not Charlize Theron in that version.
No.
More weirdly coming to mind, Sandra Bullock. I don't know why that is, but
I kind of love that.
Yeah. You know,
super fun. Not in an action sense as much, but very fun.
Yeah, but kind of biting, cutting, done with it all, but needs to do this thing. Anyway, I don't know.
So yes, thank you for the compliment. And yes, I think that we could have fun with her voice. Obviously, we haven't done any writing of dialogue. So in terms of like the type of person she is, I think that a similar kind of like take no bullshit kind of voice would be fun for her.
Yes.
I just had an image about Sam, and it's a little serious, but maybe that's a good contrast to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Imagine for a second, it's going to get really serious for a moment, but imagine for a second you've got a woman who has a husband, has kids, has a job, puts on a smile, and is fucking miserable and angry. And we can think about there's different reasons for people to be angry in their life, but she's depressed, she's angry, she is actually she is doing like lines of cocaine to get through the day. She's fucking a guy from work on the side, not because she cares about him, but just because she's angry at her life. Like, she is not what you think of as, she's not a fucking junkie living in a shitty apartment. She's living in a nice house. She has everything about her life should be happy. She should be happy, but she's not. She's angry at the world and she's angry at life. And I'm not 100% sure where that anger comes from, but I don't know if you've ever known someone like this whereby, and you're like, why are they so like depressed and upset all the time? Because they have so much to be thankful for and happy with, but it's not enough, and it's never enough. A little Marty Bird in that sense, kind of, or what? It's actually more his wife. What's her name?
I didn't hear what you said.
Little Marty Bird.
Oh, sure. Yes. Okay.
But her.
Yeah.
But like, is there a dark place where you go when you meet her? We meet her on screen and we think, this woman, really? This woman's going to be the Antichrist? Like, seems totally happy and normal and makes pancakes for her kids in the morning and like, goes to work. And then we start to see that actually, like, she's got problems, like big problems. I don't know if it works for this movie.
Yeah,
it's so serious.
Here's what I'll tell you about the version of Sam that I currently like. Okay. And I see someone who has, in the past, not necessarily on screen now, but in the past, been an addict, done not great things in their life, but who has a sense of hope and who has a desire to want to change. Now, because she's suffering from addiction, she gets pulled back into that. But currently, there's the version of it where when our demon meets her, rather than going there and killing her, the reason she doesn't kill her is because she wants and has a desire to change.
Here's what's
in this version I worry about. I go, you've got this facade, and I go, oh, okay, but really you're this. Are you trying to change or not? Because it is that hope and that desire to be different that encourages me and makes me want to like this protagonist. And again, it was born out of a question way back. How do we like
her? Well, so it's interesting. You're right. And also
completely wrong.
Well, no, it's not about being wrong. It's about her arc.
Of course.
But here's the thing. If she already wants to change at the beginning, then she doesn't really have much of an arc. all she does is get what she wants, yes, but which is fine, but from an emotional place of going, I want to be better, and
but then presumably
I get better.
Then I get better.
But I think the more interesting arc of a character is someone who doesn't want to get better, who ends up through circumstance of the movie realizing that actually they do want to get better.
Well, it's that aspect of the thing that you don't know is your problem.
Right.
I don't know that. The thing I really need to overcome is X.
Or
we refer to these as professional and personal.
Right. What we've talked about is
professional and personal need. And that in movies, you have a professional goal. Doesn't have to be what your work necessarily is, but that might be the thing you need to do.
Right.
I need to get the Ark of the Covenant out of the hands of the Nazis.
Sure.
You know, but what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Oh, I need to learn how to connect with the woman who I really love. It's one version of an arc.
So mirroring and so here's another thing that's interesting to me, and we don't, obviously it's all still up for conversation, but Charlize is a character who believes at the beginning that she'll never be. Well, actually, currently she believes that she's trying to be something different. Mm-hmm. She's the one who's actually trying,
right,
but failing.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Although in this new version, we're saying actually she's trying and succeeding. And what we're going to realize, though, and something to try and to go back to and think about from her arc and her perspective is, well, then what does she realize that actually she was doing this wrong? Actually, there's something else in her life that's missing. Actually, you know, being a demon isn't the worst thing in the world. I can be a good demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Sam, if she is the kind of person who really, like at one point we had talked about Charlize not believing that there was a version of her where we said she's a demon. She knows she's always going to be a demon. This was back when there were angels, and she'll never be human, period. There's no way around it. Mm-hmm. And it was about her realizing that she doesn't need to be human. She can still be a good being.
Yeah.
Without being a human, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a little harder to do in this current iteration that we're talking about in that way. Mm-hmm. So is there a version whereby Sam can kind of go on a similar journey, whereby she believes at the beginning that she's hopeless, and then by the end she has hope for herself and also for humanity? Like it's a journey from hopeless to hopeful for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm. It's almost like at the beginning, like actually, as you were saying that, because there is something that I really like about this, about why Charlize doesn't kill her when she first. This is the girl who's going to be Antichrist. Why don't I kill her? And she can go in. I think it's this scene of the AA,
right.
the NA meeting, and is it? Part of me doesn't want to get better. Charlize goes for the gun, right. But I want to get better. She's the glimmer of hope,
right?
You know, oh, you're not there yet, but there is something in you that's good. There is something in you that's good. I constantly fuck up. I go for a couple of weeks, 3. Most I've ever been sober for has been 27 days. You know. Anyway.
So. Yes, I'm gonna just fucking be so annoying again. But I'm trying to hear.
Yes, I'm used to it.
I'm trying to hear these two people talk in this journey, and I'm listening to like this sounds weird. It sounds like I'm crazy, everybody that's watching. But like genuinely, it's like I'm trying to put myself in their voices, in their minds.
Yeah, totally.
And if I have a woman who's jaded and feels like there's no hope and is fucking over our husband and is angry at life but puts on a smile for her kids, that's kind of the version of Charlize that we were almost doing before.
Yeah, totally. Interesting observation.
But if I have her in the car with this other version of Charlize that we were just talking about, which is the kind of like foul-mouthed hard ass who, you know, is a shit talker.
Yeah.
Is there a way for the two of them? I'm trying to hear that.
Yeah. And ultimately,
is that enjoyable to listen to? Is there going to be fun there?
Totally.
Where's the fun? Now, maybe because Charlize has had a much fucking harder time than this bitch. And you're, you know, like, seriously, like, you're complaining, like, I am a fucking demon. All I want is your life.
Sure.
And you are throwing it away. And she's like, I don't have any choice. There's nothing I can do no matter what. Just my whole life has been a curse. She's like, I'm a demon. I was born a demon. Like, your whole life's been a curse. Like, maybe there actually is banter there. Maybe there actually is some fun to be had there.
Yeah.
I just want to know that the kind of, and there is something kind of fun about reverse rolling it, going, you know, the demon's the one with hope and the human's the one who thinks that, you know, there's no hope in the world. The human's the one who's given up on God and who's, you know, like, doesn't think that life is worth anything, hence why she is also the one who could become the Antichrist. In a way, it almost makes like Charlize's mission, and I don't know that this would ever be vocalized, but it's like if Charlize can give her hope, it almost breaks the spell. Without even knowing it, that's actually what needs to happen. Underneath it all, if by Act 3, Charlize can actually make this woman want to be better, she's won. And actually, there's something really kind of nice about that. Yeah. Now, maybe it is vocalized at some point, but I don't know that it needs to be. Sure. I think it's like this underlying kind of thematic idea that you have this, you know, this demon who has been fighting for 100 years to be something she isn't. And you have a woman who is everything that she wants, but is throwing it all away.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is a conflict relationship.
Absolutely right.
I want what you have, and you're throwing it away, and you don't think that, you know, there's any way for you to do better. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, maybe, for example, I was thinking about, like, why doesn't she kill her? Maybe it's not for her. At first, maybe it's for her kids. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
Maybe she sees her with her kids, and even though she's a fucking bitch, she knows she's not the Antichrist yet. Right. And Charlize wants that would be
the reason not to, especially if we establish that kind of like, oh, you've got to with her life in Bumblefuck, Colorado,
right?
You know, oh, I kind of want that. Oh, you've got a kid. Oh, you know, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, for
sure. Then it's like, I could kill you right now, and my problems would be over. But I would be creating problems for your family. And I wouldn't be, you know, you know, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, interesting. You know, we've always had this image in our minds of Charlize with the sniper rifle.
Right.
I'd buy it with this version because I can see
she's looking through the bedroom window, some shit like that.
Oh, they're at a park, whatever. It's like she's there with the kid, and you're like, she can't do it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
You know. Ooh. You know what?
What?
Here's the thing, and this is why we like her. because she actually does love her kids.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Everything else in her life is shit.
Right.
She hates her job. She hates her marriage. She hates like her life. She had a shitty childhood. We could go
And
fucking
honestly,
bananas with how horrible her life was.
Yeah,
But
totally.
you know what her one redeeming quality is?
What is it?
She loves her fucking kids.
Oh yes, that thing you just
Yes. No, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Totally.
Because I can believe and I can want you to get better. I can want you to change. If I see that you don't see it, you don't realize that that's the key, that's the kernel, but I see it. I see the way you look at that girl. I see the way you kiss her and tuck her in bed at night, and I go, you can be better.
Yeah, totally. Great. Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Today, I'm sold.
Today you're sold. Tomorrow,
different story, sunshine. Tomorrow we tear it all down again to the.
Listen, I'm gonna bring up our scratch again because
let's do that.
I want to make sure that we get this down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another version, and this is I don't know how many versions this is at this point, but because here's the thing, like if we can make that actually believable, like really truthful, if we can make that feeling really truthful, it'll elevate this movie. You know,
it will.
We want to see people struggle and overcome those struggles. We do, like human beings want to see that.
Yeah, and this is one of the things about movies is and I think it's really worth just talking about quickly. Again, we were talking about earlier on about professional need versus personal need.
Right.
It doesn't matter if the professional need is or is not met as long as the personal need is. Now, obviously, in most Hollywood films,
in this movie, it better be met.
It better be, yeah. If Tom Cruise doesn't stop the nuclear bomb from going off, downer ending. But interestingly, the original Top Gun is a really interesting example because Tom Cruise does not get the Top Gun award. He does not get that thing he's been working towards professionally, but he goes through a personal change and an element of personal growth. And therefore, you finish the movie Top Gun with deep satisfaction because you go, yes, Tom. Yes, Pete. You did it, Maverick.
Right. So, hold on. Sam is a wife,
a
mom, a working professional.
Yeah.
She has the life that people only dream of.
Yeah.
Including Charlize.
Right.
But
it's a ruse. It's a cover.
She's miserable. Yep.
Miserable.
Angry. And resentful. Well, she does drugs.
She's screwing a guy at work.
Husband, and other bad shit we can think of later. However, as horrible as she may seem, she loves her kids.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe her life can get better.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what's interesting? This goes really fucking dark. This isn't right for this movie. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. She doesn't believe her life can get better. And over the course of the story, thing that changes in her is hope. It's not huge, but if she can find a way to believe that she can change, then she wins.
Right.
Charlize has fought for 100 years to find a way to stop being a demon and have the life that Sam has.
Yeah.
She's almost there. And then this bit
thing happens. Yeah,
puts
totally.
it all up.
Yeah, completely.
And that's where the banter and humor comes from.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's really great.
That's fun.
Cool.
And you know what's really good is that the core of what we've been talking about this whole time is still there. Sam is still fighting her inner demons. Charlize still is not being her perfectly authentic self, and hence why she hasn't acted. And in fact, when we see her trying to get the life that she wants, she shouldn't be authentic. She should be trying too hard.
Yeah.
And so both of them fighting their inner demons and ultimately succeeding over them and realizing that they're actually that there are good things in their lives, that there are good things about them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's going to make their journeys really rich, but also like it's, you know, what's nice is it's not so complicated.
No, I agree.
In a movie like this, it's like, look, what's this movie going to be? It's going to be a bunch of fucking awesome set pieces.
Yes, it is.
Special effects.
And that's it.
Right?
When it comes down to it, that's what we're doing. But something we talked early on is like we want to have a really simple story, but with complex characters going through their own thing.
This is what makes that movie better.
Yes.
Really, absolutely. The most brilliant thing I've said all day.
This is what makes that movie better. Put it on t-shirt. Excellent. Good. Well, I'm encouraged by this.
Honestly,
I think that is the show. Yeah, I think
a couple of nice comments.
Yes, thanks so much,
Michael. Thanks again for watching and catching up, and thank you for congratulating me on my baby girl. She is doing amazing. And I love the hashtag Get Jacob Potting Shed.
Get Jacob Potting Shed.
You know what's funny is I don't even remember the potting shed combo. I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah, I kept on saying he's got a potting shed in the backyard, but underneath it there's a secret basement.
It's so funny. So
funny. Excellent. All right. Well, tomorrow I'd really like to. Yeah, let's keep on. I think with this into the outline tomorrow.
With this solidified, we can go back, of course, back to the beginning, but we can go back, and we can start adjusting the outline to fit these characters.
Agreed. Absolutely right. Good stuff.
I'm excited by that.
Me too. All right. Great show today, Ben. Thanks so much.
I like Inner Demons. It's not a bad title.
Not a bad title, and it means something. You know,
it's not bad, it's not bad. Keep thinking on it.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
What do y'all think about Inner Demons?
What do y'all think? I don't know. Maybe.
Good, personally.
All right. I dig it. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 51. And we said, are we ever going to get back into this outline? And no, we did not, but we didn't.
No, we didn't. Tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.